Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Caribbean Heritage Celebration 2022. We are so delighted that you have joined us this evening. Why do we celebrate Caribbean heritage? This celebration was established to create and disseminate knowledge about the contributions of the Caribbean people to the United States. When we think of all the contributions that our people have made, since from the 19th century, I'm just going to go back a little bit, we notice that many people of Caribbean heritage have contributed significantly to the United States. Many of them were craftsmen, scholars, teachers, preachers, doctors, inventors, comedians, etc. Did you know that some of the notable ones are as follows? Alexander Hamilton, first Secretary of the Treasury, and in more recent times, Colin Powell, who was the first person of color as the Secretary of State. We also have James Weldon Johnson, the writer of the national anthem. Celia Cruz, the world-renowned queen of salsa. Shirley Chisholm, to name a few. Now, if we look back into our history at how this came about, in 2004, Dr. Claire Nelson began the official campaign to make sure that we had a celebration for Caribbean people. And this campaign took up a lot of speed, and in 2005, it was passed by the Congress, and in 2006, the proclamation was signed by the president. So here we have come so many years ago, and now we are in 2022 celebrating our Caribbean heritage. I want to thank you that you have come out to celebrate with us, because as we celebrate, we are a diverse set of people in the Caribbean, but we have one lineage. And so as we come to celebrate our diversity, I want to welcome you to this session. I want to take the opportunity also of welcoming our two senators. We have Senator Parker, who was the original sponsor of this event 12 years ago, and Senator Passad. You will hear from them in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinguished privilege this evening to introduce to you the lady that will be serving as our mistress of ceremony. In just a minute, I will be introducing her. Miss Jean Pickering is known by many. Now, she is a registered nurse. As a matter of fact, she's a nurse practitioner. She came to the United States when she was just 20 years old. She attended Medgar Evers College, and her accolades are too many for me to go through all the different aspects of it. But she is a woman of diverse background, very well read, very well connected. And so she comes with a lot of good pedigree that would give her the credentials necessary to be the mistress of ceremonies this afternoon. She also is a member of APC. She serves on our board. She is a retired military officer, and she belongs to a number of other organizations, the Black Military Women Organization, among many others. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Ms. Jean Pickering, who is our mistress of ceremony for today. Let us put our hands together for Jean.
Thank you, Madam President, and a good afternoon to all within the hearing of my voice. I greatly appreciate the privilege bestowed upon me to MC this year's Caribbean American Heritage Celebration via this virtual medium. Caribbean American Heritage Month is celebrated by proclamation of the President and Congress in June, as you heard from the President, to honor the achievements, acknowledgement, contributions, and showcase the different cultures of the Caribbean immigrants and their descendants living in the United States. This year marks the 14th celebration of Caribbean Heritage Month since the proclamation. For years, APC Community Services, in conjunction with Senator Kevin Parker, has hosted a celebration aimed at demonstrating our pride and loyalty to our various nations. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to move from an in-person celebration to this virtual platform. Nevertheless, I assure you the time that you will have invested in joining us today will be greatly rewarded by the dynamic program we have planned for you. In the interest of time management, items of today's program will not be individually announced, but will follow in sequence as outlined in the program. Performers and presentations are as appear in the program as follows. Greetings from State Senator Roxanne Prasad and Chino Duke, representing Senator Parker's office. A pageant of nations by board members of APC Community Services. Featured country number 1 will be the Dominican Republic, narrator Christina Peña. Musical rendition to follow by Kareem Headley of Joe's Academy of Music, and he's of Trinidad and Tobago heritage. Barbados, narrator Patricia Wilkinson, native Barbadian, followed by a dance number by the Joe's Academy Dance Ensemble. Next, we'll highlight St. Lucia. Narrator for the St. Lucia will be native Agatha Cadet. Finally, Panama would be the 4th country spotlighted. The narrator will be Mr. Louis Marshall, a native son of Panama. Final item on the program will be a spotlight on plant-based Caribbean cuisine presented by President Dr. Janice McLean. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, I bring you APC Community Services Caribbean American Heritage Month Celebration 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. And let's invite Chinua Duke from the office of our State Senator Kevin Parker for some greetings. Chinua, over to you.
But good afternoon to APC's services, community services, and all you gathered here today. My name is Chinua Duke, Special Assistant to State Senator Kevin Parker. Senator Parker sends his greetings. In the 21st Senatorial District, we have a rich and diverse Caribbean community that represents the entire diaspora. As you know, that the Senator is a big fan of Labor Day. He does not miss it. And because he does not miss it, I don't miss it. And he is there actively representing indiscriminately every Caribbean country, from the Jamaican floats to the Haitian floats, and my bias favor of the Guyanese. So here, on behalf, I'm just honoring the richness the Caribbean diaspora has brought to the United States, to New York, and to Brooklyn in particular. So with this, honoring today's event,
Hello?
Senator requested that a proclamation be drawn to honor Caribbean Heritage Celebration 2022. And so you know that I'm just not, talking from a script. The proclamation is here in front of me and will be delivered. And we'll probably put it in a nice little frame as well. But I'll read out shortly, quickly, what it states as we honor this 2022 celebration of Caribbean Heritage for Caribbean Heritage Month. So it says, whereas is the sense of legislative body to honor and publicly acknowledge organizations who have distinguished themselves through their exemplary careers, accomplishments, and purposeful lives of service to the community and profession. Whereas in attendance to such accord with its long-standing traditions, that its legislative body proudly and justly honor APC Community Services upon the occasion of the Caribbean Heritage Celebration 2022. It is a custom that in every community there are inevitably some individuals who, by virtue of their energy, vision, and dedication, command the greatest respect amongst their friends and colleagues and within the community at large. It is custom as legislative body to commend those individuals with outstanding character who have shown initiative and commitment towards constantly pursuing higher goals and acting as role models of leadership to be emulated by both their peers and young people alike. Now, therefore, be it resolved that State Senator Kevin Parker acknowledge APC Community Services upon the occasion of the Caribbean Heritage Celebration 2022, and may it be further that its copy of the proclamation be read and passed and transmitted to APC Community Services at today's event. So we're here wishing you guys a great event, and thank you for highlighting the Caribbean, people of Caribbean heritage and their contribution to Brooklyn, New York, and the country as a whole. So thank you and enjoy the evening.
Hello, I am New York State Senator Roxanne J. Persaud, representing the 19th Senate District in Brooklyn. My district represents areas of East New York, Brownsville, Canarsie, Mill Basin, Mill Island, Georgetown, Marine Park, and Sheepshead Bay. Today, I congratulate APC Community Services and their partners on hosting their annual Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration. The celebration this year is featuring 4 countries: Barbados, St. Lucia, Panama, and the Dominican Republic. 4 countries who celebrate their cultures differently, but collectively they celebrate under the umbrella of the Caribbean. And today, you're celebrating as one Caribbean, celebrating Caribbean heritage. In 2005, Congressmember Barbara Lee introduced legislation declaring February as Caribbean American Heritage Month because she wanted to highlight the contributions made by Caribbean members and their descendants to the American history and the American art. In February of 2006, that legislation passed the United States Senate. And then in June of 2006, President George W. Bush issued the proclamation declaring June as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the United States. Every year since, a proclamation is issued by the White House. In New York, we issue proclamations in the Assembly and in the Senate. And there's a cultural celebration in Albany, a celebration of the Caribbean culture. We have many members in the Assembly and in the Senate who are of Caribbean descent. I myself was born in Guyana. My other colleagues are of Caribbean descent because their parents were either born in Guyana, born in Haiti, born in Jamaica, born in Barbados, born in Aruba. Both houses, the Assembly and the Senate, the leaders are of Caribbean descent. So we have a rich heritage, and we will continue showcasing that heritage. So as you celebrate the rich culture of this Caribbean. Let's show the world that we are one Caribbean. We are from different countries, but we are celebrating as one Caribbean heritage, hence June being Caribbean American Heritage Month. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month to all. Here in Brooklyn, last Saturday, we celebrated the rich culture, whether we had the young kids showcasing the country of their parents' birth, or the elders showcasing the heritage that they're so proud of. We all wanted everyone to know we are proud of our Caribbean heritage. So again, as you celebrate this evening, and in partnership with my colleague, Senator Parker, who tells everyone he has the most Caribbean than anybody else in his district, and he'll tell you that. Not sure about that, but Senator Parker will tell you he has the most Caribbean in his district outside of every country. So, Senator Parker, happy Caribbean Heritage Month. And to everyone who's celebrating today, happy Caribbean Heritage Month. Let us continue to showcase our heritage and celebrate in style. Have fun, everyone. Happy Caribbean Heritage Month. I'm Senator Roxanne Prasad. I am New York State Senator Roxanne J. Prasad, representing the 19th Senate District in Brooklyn. My district represents areas of East New York, Brownsville, Canarsie, Mill Basin, Mill Island, Georgetown, Marine Park, and Sheepshead Bay. Today, I congratulate APC Community Services and their partners on hosting their annual Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration. The celebration this year is featuring 4 countries: Barbados, St. Lucia, Panama, and the Dominican Republic. 4 countries who celebrate their cultures differently, but collectively they celebrate under the umbrella of the Caribbean. And today, you're celebrating as one Caribbean, celebrating Caribbean heritage. In 2005, Congressmember Barbara Lee introduced legislation declaring February as Caribbean American Heritage Month because she wanted to highlight the contributions made by Caribbean members and their descendants to the American history and the American art. In February of 2006, that legislation passed the United States Senate. And then in June of 2006, President George W. Bush issued the proclamation declaring June as Caribbean American Heritage Month in the United States. Every year since, a proclamation is issued by the White House. In New York, we issue proclamations in the Assembly and in the Senate. And there's a cultural celebration in Albany, a celebration of the Caribbean culture. We have many members in the Assembly and in the Senate who are of Caribbean descent. I myself was born in Guyana. My other colleagues are of Caribbean descent because their parents were either born in Guyana, born in Haiti, born in Jamaica, born in Barbados, born in Aruba. Both houses, the Assembly and the Senate, the leaders are of Caribbean descent. So we have a rich heritage, and we will continue showcasing that heritage. So as you celebrate the rich culture of this Caribbean, let's show the world that we are one Caribbean. We are from different countries, but we are celebrating as one Caribbean heritage, hence June being Caribbean American Heritage Month. Happy Caribbean American Heritage Month to all. Here in Brooklyn, last Saturday, we celebrated the rich culture, whether we had the young kids showcasing the country of their parents' birth, or the elders showcasing the heritage that they're so proud of. We all wanted everyone to know We are proud of our Caribbean heritage. So again, as you celebrate this evening, and in partnership with my colleague, Senator Parker, who tells everyone he has the most Caribbean than anybody else in his district, and he'll tell you that. Not sure about that, but Senator Parker will tell you he has the most Caribbean in his district outside of every country. So, Senator Parker, happy Caribbean Heritage Month. And to everyone who's celebrating today, happy Caribbean Heritage Month. Let us continue to showcase our heritage and celebrate in style. Have fun, everyone. Happy Caribbean Heritage Month. I'm Senator Roxanne Prasad.
Representing Panama,
Buenas noches, good evening. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce you to my beautiful island of the Dominican Republic. I am Cristina Peña from Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. We are incredibly honored that APC Community Services has selected the Dominican Republic as a featured country for the 2022 Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration. The Dominican Republic is the second largest and most diverse Caribbean country, situated just 4 hours from New York and 2 hours south of Miami, surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean on the north and the Caribbean Sea on the south, Our lush tropical island paradise boasts nearly 1,000 miles of coastline and 250 miles of the world's top beaches and magnificent resorts and hotels. Known as the Cradle of the Americas, the Dominican Republic is full of iconic sites across its cities and provinces. Over 7.5 million tourists visit the Dominican Republic annually. While visiting, the tourists can enjoy our world-famous beaches such as Playa Rincon and Samaná, walk through the first buildings and monuments in the Americas lining the streets of Santo Domingo's colonial city. They can also hike the ruins of La Isabela in Puerto Plata province, where Columbus built his first and only home on land in the Americas, perched on a cliff overlooking the sea. Experience a hike in the Dominican Republic's sole UNESCO biosphere in the southwest. It is said to be the most diverse biosphere in the country. Our tourists can hear the history of merengue in a small village in Puerto Plata. Puerto Plata is said to be the birthplace of merengue. They can also explore ancient relics of centuries past, delight in delicious Dominican cuisine, or enjoy ecotourism adventures in our magnificent national parks, mountain ranges, rivers, and beaches, all key in Dominican culture. Here is a short history of the Dominican Republic.
From the biggest continent to the teeniest island, we all share a love and passion for the power of music. We all have unique experiences with music, and its impact on us is deeper than just entertainment. Cultures around the world use music as a means of expression. The music of the Dominican Republic is especially unique, echoing the island's colorful heritage.
The island of Hispaniola was inhabited by the Taino tribe. The Dominican Republic was the first stop Columbus made in the New World and became the first European settlement in 1492. Conflict rose between the native Taino people and the Spanish colonists and slave owners. Under the leadership of a husband and wife team of chiefs, the Tainos resisted Spanish rule until a combination of European diseases and battalions of Spain caused them to fall. Spain ruled the island of Hispaniola until 1975, when the French conquered it.
At this time, 90% of the island's population were West African slaves. In 1844, the Dominican Republic won its freedom from French rule and established a representative democracy. In 1930, President Trujillo, a dictator, was elected. He promoted economic development, but it benefited only himself and his supporters, repressing human rights throughout the country. After daring revolts and brave campaigns by the citizens against Trujillo, he was assassinated in 1961. The country has been returned to a democratic state and is fighting to establish commercial and social stability.
The Dominican Republic has the second largest economy in Central America and the Caribbean. They are primarily dependent on natural resources and government services. Jobs in agriculture and mining are the most prominent, and tourism accounts for much of the money that comes into the DR. Economic growth takes place in spite of a chronic energy shortage, which causes frequent blackouts and very high prices. Though they were plagued with economic turmoil in the 80s and 90s, it began steps to recovery in 2007.
Now let's take a look at Dominican food and its history. Dominican food, its history, and traditional dishes you will absolutely love. Dominican food draws inspiration from a variety of cultures, like Taino, African, Spanish, French, and Middle Eastern. Each of these different cultural influences has been embraced into Dominican cuisine. Spanish influences on Dominican cuisine. The Dominican Republic was a Spanish-occupied colony from 1492 to 1821, and jointly with Haiti until 1844. The long years under Spanish rule have had a powerful impact on the Dominican Republic cuisine. The Spanish introduced the new animal species, fruits, vegetables, and grains to Hispaniola. The Spanish revere lunch as the main meal of the day, and this is reflected in the Dominican love of hearty lunch dishes. Sancocho is a Spanish meat stew and a very popular Dominican dish. Creme caramel is another Spanish-inspired sweet treat made from egg yolks, vanilla, evaporated milk, and condensed milk. Middle Eastern influences on Dominican cuisine. The Spanish brought the strong influence of Middle Eastern cuisine from their history of the 700-year Moorish invasion. Along with the Moorish influence, many Arabs also migrated to the Dominican Republic. Quipes are the Dominican version of Lebanese kibbeh, a deep-fried bulgur roll dish, usually with a meat filling. Arroz con almendras y pasas is a Lebanese-based dish of a savory rice flavored with almonds and raisins. Taino influences on Dominican cuisine. The Taino are the indigenous peoples of the Dominican Republic. Taino culture is evident today in the word barbecue, taken from Arawak barabaku, as well as hammock, tobacco, and hurricane. Casabe is thin, unleavened cassava or yuca flatbread that has been part of the Dominican diet for over 500 years and is still eaten in the DR to this day. Guanimes are similar to tamales and are made from cornmeal or corn flour made into masa and wrapped into banana leaf or corn husk. African influences. Although the European and Taino influences are often cited regarding Dominican culture and cuisine, African influences are often overlooked. Mangu is a paste made from boiled and mashed green plantain and is linked to the West African word mangusi, which means mash. Let's look at Chinese influence on Dominican cuisine. The Chinese brought their food traditions and cooking techniques with them in the 18th century, some of which are part of the Dominican culture today. Chofan is a Dominican version of Chinese fried rice, commonly using meat and peas as well. Are you hungry yet? Here are some of the most popular traditional Dominican dishes. La bandera dominicana. Representing the colors of the flag, the beans are the red, the rice is the white, and the meat is the blue. Chen chen. This cracked corn dish is an excellent substitute for rice and is very popular in the southwest regions of DR. Tostones. Tostones are twice fried green plantains and are as popular in homes as they are on street food. Tostones can be used to complement a meal or on their own with a dip. Mofongo. With its origins in African cuisine, mofongo is an iconic Dominican dish. You can stuff the mashed green plantains with vegetables. Pescado con coco. Because of the dish's simplicity and the flavor's delicate nature, the fish's freshness is paramount. Chivo guisado picante. Every great variation of this dish rests on the high-quality goat meat, wild oregano, and Scotch bonnet peppers. Jamaicans love this dish. Chicharrón de cerdo. Chicharrón is so loved, it is often sold by the pound. Pastelón de plátano maduro. By far the most loved Dominican dish, this comfort food is unlike anything you might have tasted before. Flan. This creme caramel Spanish dessert has become a firm favorite in Dominican cuisine. Tres leche cake. What's not to love about the soft sponge soaked in sweet milk and topped with whipped cream? Cocadas. These homely coconut cupcakes, easy to make and forgiving for those prone to baking errors. The intersection of so many cultures has created a unique cuisine that is distinctly Dominican. After all that delicious cuisine, we have to get out of our seats and move to the pulse-pounding thrill of our national dance, merengue, which originated in the Dominican Republic in the 1850s.
Compadre Pedro Juan, baile el jaleo. Compadre Pedro Juan, que está sabroso. Aquella niña de los ojos verdes que tiene el cuerpo flexible, baile la venganza. Compadre Pedro Juan, no pierda el tiempo. Compadre Pedro Juan, saca en su dama. Acabar el merengue, si no anda con cuidado, se quedará como perico atrapado. Compadre Juan, medio de agua, acondenado, de aquí para allá, de allá para acá, apriete la mano, por la madrugada. Compadre Juan, medio la madruga.
I'm glad you were able to join me for this virtual tour of the Dominican Republic. If you have already visited the island, do come again. And if you haven't as of yet, visit us soon. My cousins, aunties, and uncles are waiting to welcome you and show you a great time.
This is the Caribbean, and here is Barbados. Now let's check it out, shall we? Archaeologists tell us there was an ancient people living on Barbados around 1600 BC, the same time the Mycenaeans were getting started over in Greece. But they disappeared, and no one knows why. Some 2,000 years later, Arawak and Carib Amerindians lived here. Then, in the 1500s, either Portugal or Spain discovered the island, and either Portugal or Spain named it Barbados. Bearded ones, maybe because the fig tree roots there look like beards. No one bothered settling on the island for a long time. Spain would stop by every now and then to gather some slaves, but that was it. Then in 1627, Britain claimed it for King James I. They started out growing tobacco and cotton, but the real money maker for Barbados was sugar. Sugar was a rarity in Europe at the time and very valuable, and those who supplied it would certainly have no pecuniary regrets. The subsequent wealth gained spurred a desire for increasing exports, so cultivation was extended and West African slaves were shipped over to toil on the plantations alongside the numerous indentured Irish workers. Being a slave is not much fun, and there was a number of revolts. The biggest occurred in 1816, led by a slave called Bussa, now considered a national hero. Slavery ended in 1834, but it would be 100 years before serious efforts were made to improve the lot of the poor, which most Barbadians were. The 1930s saw one Grantley Adams intervene politically to help the disadvantaged. Barbados became an independent country in 1966. Since then, Barbados has been doing very well. A stable, peaceful democracy with a very high Human Development Index, giving the world great cricketers like Sir Garfield Sobers and famous musicians like Grandmaster Flash and Rihanna, and has been a popular tourist destination for decades. So that's it for Barbados, and that's it from me for now. Bye-bye.
Barbados was inhabited by the Carib and Arawak Indians prior to being colonized by the British in the early 17th century. Barbados was the world's largest number one sugar producers in 1650. The only remaining operating factory is Port Vale in the parish of St. James. There are 11 parishes in the island, St. Philip being the largest and St. Joseph the smallest. The island has a population of approximately 285,000 people. Being transformed by slavery and the plantation system, slaves worked in the fields for 6 days per week, 10 or more hours per day, with only the Sabbath off. At planting and harvesting time, the slaves worked 15 to 16 hours per day in the fields, with little or no pay. The cane is used to make sugar, and two of the island leading rams, Mount Gay and Cockspur. The cane is crushed to extract the juice, which makes molasses and sugar. This is the key ingredient in the island's rum. The remainder fiber is used to fuel the sugar factory, as well as being used to fertilize the soil. The sugarcane is not Barbados' only source of economy. They also rely on tourism. Because of the lovely beaches, sand, sea, and sun, and the friendly demeanor of the Barbadian people, many visitors are attracted to the island. A visit to Harson's Cave is usually breathtaking. Barbados entertainment is the music by the natives, such as Red Plastic Bag, Alison Hines, Little Rick, and many more. Barbados achieved voting rights in 1943 and gained independence from England on November 30th, 1966. On November 30th, 2021, Barbados became a republic nation and now has its first president. Barbados' national dish is cuckoo and flying fish. A beverage can usually be a cold glass of Moby or a local beer called Banks. Favorite sports on the island is cricket and netball. A safe and inexpensive way to get around the island is by government transportation buses and the PSV minibuses. In early years ago, train transportation were used as a means of getting around, as well as donkey carts and buggies. The people are very religious, with many different religions of which over 50 churches are Adventists. Education is at one of its highest rate of 99.8 literacy, and education is taken seriously by every school with a motto of no child should be left behind. All students are required to wear uniforms in order to avoid conflicts over style or brand names and to distinguish the various schools.
Open your eyes to St. Lucia and open your soul to peace, love, joy, unsurpassed natural beauty. All the things our hearts most long for converge here in the southeastern Caribbean Sea. Call it glorious, call it sublime, call it rapturous, call it yours. This is one of the lushest Caribbean islands, spellbinding, romantic, like no other. The majestic Twin Pitons, dense rainforests, dreamy coves, ribbons of sandy beach, idyllic waterfalls. Open your eyes, open your heart and soul to the wonders of St. Lucia. For 150 years, the French and English battled to claim St. Lucia as their own. Can you blame them? Possession switched 14 times until the English seized control in 1814. St. Lucia gained her independence in 1979. She boasts 2 Nobel laureates, writer Derek Walcott and economist Arthur Lewis. European influences remain, creating an irresistible blend of French Creole warmth and English sophistication. The French imprint is clear in Castries, the capital city, and Soufrière, the charming old French capital. Place names and distinctive architecture tell the story. Old banana and sugar plantations reflect England's dominance. Cocoa too thrives in the lush St. Lucia climate. Fascinating ruins remain. Visitors can explore amazing 18th century sugar mills or stay in historic plantation houses that are today the center of working cocoa plantations. Africans, who were brought to the island in the 17th century, and native Amerindians also contributed to a fusion of cultures. You'll see it reflected in the art, crafts, music, and way of life today. Colorful folk art, fabrics, ceramics, wood carvings, and internationally acclaimed art are showcased in workshops, open-air markets, and galleries throughout the island. Shoppers also peruse fine jewelry, watches, and other high-end merchandise at duty-free designer boutiques and in shopping malls. Unsurpassed natural beauty, a warm welcome from the moment you arrive. Adventure and romance at every turn. A spectacular variety of accommodations. Cuisine you will savor and remember. Call it glorious. Call it sublime. Call it rapturous. Call it yours. Come and discover the wonders of St. Lucia.
cane growing on my native land.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Oh, and I walk out in the field from morn till night.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
I just saw me little nigga they can catch a bite.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Oh, and I walk on the plantation every live long day.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
If a nigga man no work, he can get no pay.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Oh, and I'm waking up me back in the broiling sun.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Well, now we're weary and not tired when the day is done.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand. Planters, planters, sugar cane. The cane grow big and tall. From the broiling sun and the dripping rain. From money for one and all. Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Oh, well, the cane mill grinding on the sugar pile.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
I say, poor nigga man, you can rest a while.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Well, me should bust out and it rot with sweat.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Now, now we're weary and not tired and a dripping wet.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand. Planters, planters, sugar cane. The cane grow big and tall. The broiling sun and the dripping rain. Come money for one and all. Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
I say the sugar cane growing on my native land.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Well, then you walk out in the field from morn till night.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
I just saw you little nigga, they can get a bite.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Well, then you walk on the plantation every live long day.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
I say this nigga man work, but he get no pay.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Oh, Lord, you waking up your back in the broiling sun.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand.
Well, then you weary and you're tired when the day is done.
Cut the sugar cane till it bun me hand. Planters, planters, sugar cane.
The cane grow big and tall. From the broiling sun and the dripping rain. Come on, you for one and all. Cut the sugar cane out till it bun me hand.
Name Panama. Official name Republic of Panama. Capital Panama City. Area 75,420 square kilometers. Population as of 2018, it is 3.801 million. Language Spanish. National currency Balboa. Largest city Panama City. Continent North America. National name Republic de Panama. National flag. National emblem. National anthem Himno Istamino. National river Tuira. National bird Harpy eagle. National flower Peristera elata. National fruit rambutan. National tree Sterculia epitala. National animal Panamanian golden frog. National sport baseball. Now try answering these questions. What is the capital of Panama? Let us see the next question. What is the official name of Panama? Let us see the next one. What is the largest city of Panama? Let us see the next question. What is the area of Panama? Let us see the last one. What is the population of Panama? If any of your answer is wrong, please visit the video again.
Afternoon. My name is Louis R. Marshall, former supervising superintendent of New York State Prisons and adjunct professor of criminal justice. I was born in the Republic of Panama. I'm a descendant of the Afro-Antilleans that came to Panama to build the Panama Canal. I was asked to do this video on behalf of APC Community Organization. First and foremost, for you to get an idea of the country, Panama, the Republic of Panama, which you can see it on this map, is in the form of an S with a narrowest point run from east to west, and this is where they decided they wanted to build a canal. But just to give you some insight into how did Panama became a country. Looking at it chronologically, Panama was part of Spain from 1513 to 1821. Panama became part of what was known as La Gran Colombia in 1821. This occurred because Panama was afraid that Spain was going to come back and inhabit the country again. And since they didn't have an independence, they needed support. So Gran Colombia was composed of Nicaragua, Venezuela, Nicaragua, several Latin American countries all came under one consortium to protect themselves from the Spaniards coming back. So once they were under Colombia, the first major event that took place in Panama was the building of the railroad in 1850. It was necessary to build this railroad because Panama is so strategically located on the globe that if you try to travel from California, where they had the gold rush, in order to transport things back to the eastern coast by boat, the shortest route was to go all the way down to Panama and take it on a train and unload the goods and transfer it over to the Pacific Ocean on another boat. So once they decided that this was going to be the best course of action, they hired a lot of West Indians to build the railroad. I want to let you know that in many cases, you may find people saying that the Chinese built the railroad in Panama. That's not necessarily true. The railroad started in 1850, and the Chinese did not arrive until 1854, and the railroad was completed 1855. So they were there a window of maybe 2 years. The French attempted after that to build a canal in the Republic of Panama in 1880. Unfortunately, they underestimated the terrain, the weather, the Anopheles mosquito. And in the process of building this canal, they encountered so much difficulties that the country of France was going broke, investing money in trying to build that canal. And eventually the French gave up. At that point, they had lost 20,000 people lost their lives. It became a failed project. And after that, the United States under President Roosevelt realized that this was a good opportunity for the United States to get the same challenge and complete that canal, which was going to be strategically a short route to cut across from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean and vice versa. So therefore, that's what they embark on in trying to do. And at the same time, they did not want to make the same mistakes that was made by the French. So what the United States did is told Panama that we will help you with your independence, and then we can sign the treaty for the canal. Colombia was not receptive to allowing America to build the canal. So the United States immediately embarked upon having Panama declare an independence, which was in 1903. Once Panama got their independence, the United States signed a contract to build the canal. It was called the Hayes-Bonneau-Varilla Treaty. Hayes-Bonneau-Varilla Treaty, which you can tell by the name that it was the French doing the signing, because that's not a Spanish name, that's a French name along with an American name, Hayes, H-A-Y-E-S. After that was done, the United States decided to sign a contract with Panama saying, we will give you $10 million upfront for the building of the canal and an annual annuity of $250,000 yearly. So that was agreed on. And 1904, the United States decided to embark on getting as many people to complete this venture of the canal, which was an astronomical responsibility. But before I go into that, let me just introduce to you this book called Erased. What this book talks about is what happened in the Republic of Panama before the building of the Panama Canal. And in that book, you will realize that many West Indians and Afro-Antilleans were in Panama way before the idea of building the Panama Canal, or even before the French came. Many of them came with the Spaniards in the 1600s, and they got their freedom when they got to Panama because they refused to be controlled by the Spaniards anymore. So upon getting their freedom, they lived on the different coasts of Panama, mainly on the coastline where they came in off the ships, and they stayed there for many years. So black people were in Panama way before the building of the Panama Canal. And this book, Erased, tells you about some of the little towns where blacks were in charge. But once they started the construction, a lot of these communities were destroyed. They were part of the areas where the canal was going to be built, building the trenches. So the United States went to the different islands and got approximately 100,000 West Indians to migrate to Panama. They came from St. Kitts, St. Croix, Martinique, Barbados, Jamaica. And when they all got to Panama, obviously they did not have the conditions to live in like other people living in Panama. So they were basically in very sad, depraved conditions trying to get started in building the Panama Canal. So once they arrived, the United States asked Dr. Gorgas to come to Panama. He's the one that had helped handle the serious mosquito problem in Cuba. So now they asked him to come to Panama to get rid of this disease that killed so many people during the building of the Panama Canal by the French, which failed. So when Gorgas got to Panama and he started putting together the process to eliminate the mosquito, that worked very well. So now they embark on building the canal. To let you know what we're talking about in terms of the population, the American had a territory of more or less 40 miles, and in that terrain, they control completely legally. The Republic of Panama allowed the United States to implement their own laws and govern that territory. And if you didn't work for the American government, you could not transit through that property, that 40-mile stretch. And even after the canal was completed, if you did not live on the canal zone, which is called, you could not go in that area. You'd be trespassing. And again, they had their own laws, so you could go to jail. Now, that's the American side. Now, the West Indian, what they contributed beside helping to build the canal, they also brought the music, which is calypso. They are the one introduced Carnival, which is an official parade now in Panama for over a week. It lasts every year. And they brought things like a dance called the quadrille and Congo. So we can see where the West Indian contributed a whole lot to the building of the Panama Canal. Let me show you some of the builders. These are some of the builders. What you're looking at here is the builders driving these power bars into the ground, and it has dynamite powder on the edge of it. And that dynamite is placed into the mountain to blow up the mountain and make way for the trenches that are going to be the canal. Unfortunately, sometime in the process, many people lost their life. Now, during the building of the Panama Canal, they said 6,000 people lost their lives. Obviously, it's more than that, but that was a number to work with from an academic standpoint. Of the 6,000, it's documented that 4,000 were West Indians. And unfortunately, to this day, there's nothing addressing this issue in the terms of something that you can go to Panama and look at and see the documentation. Then we had the West Indian contributed certain food, cow foot soup, bread pudding, curry goat, what is known as patty, plantain, chicken, cuckoo, callaloo, fritters, saltfish, breadfruit. So the West Indian contributed a whole lot to the culture of Panama. Now the Panamanians themselves, the descendants of the Spaniard, their primary food was like ropa vieja, shredded beef, tomato, garlic, and onion, curcumin, and rice. They had their own little cultural food. But the West Indian brought a lot of the food that to this day in Panama are primary meals when people go there to Panama to eat. Now, as we can see, the West Indian are the ones who are the primary workers building the canal, as you can see here in this poster painted by my good friend Keith Lindsay, still living in the Republic of Panama. And here you can see what the country looked like, and the divide is right here in the middle is the divide where the canal run right through for the ships to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, or the West Coast to the East Coast, which means from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean and vice versa. The canal operates 24 hours. So just to give you an idea what it looked like when they were building it, this is mountains that they're tearing down, these mountains, and drilling right through it with dynamite to make the route to connect the two oceans. And they are governed by different locks at different altitude to control the water level while the ships are going through. So the Republic of Panama look like this today. Panama have more skyscrapers than any other country in Latin America. So it has progressively advanced, and all of this came out of the contribution of the West Indians to building that canal. So what we look at now is a country that is very much progressive, and you can Google it. Last year, the canal was able to provide revenues to Panama over $2.6 billion. And sadly enough, you won't see none of what I'm saying in a statue or anything of that nature in Panama because they never built one. While I'm talking to you, I'm working on a project right now to have them build a monument in Panama for the West Indians. This is our booklet that we submitted to the government, and we are trying to get them to build the monument to address these different countries that contributed to the building of that canal. This is a work in progress right now. So I don't have much time because of the limitation placed on this subject matter for this purpose. And I thank everyone for listening, and I hope I've been able to give you some insight as to the Republic of Panama and the role that the thousands of West Indian played in making this country what it is today. Take care. God bless. Love you all.
And welcome to our Caribbean Heritage Celebration 2022. I'm delighted to share this little moment with you because we are just getting ready to produce a Caribbean, English-speaking Caribbean cookbook focused on national dishes from the English-speaking Caribbean, but these dishes are going to be plant-based vegan. You heard me correctly, plant-based vegan. And so to demonstrate this today, I'm going to make a very simple recipe. It's a recipe that is across the Caribbean region, that is codfish and plantain. So before I do that though, permit me to tell you a little bit of the Caribbean culture as it pertains to food. Caribbean cuisine is a fusion of African, Creole, Cajun, Amerindian, East Indian, European, Latin American, Asian, Afghan, and Middle Eastern culture all fused together. And lest I forget, there is also Chinese influence. These traditions were brought from the many countries when they came to the Caribbean as the indentured servant came to work the plantation. So what we see in the Caribbean today is just a fusion of all these cultures. And one of the things with this particular culture, it's bright colors, lovely different kinds of combinations of spices, nice flavors, and so forth. So I'm going to demonstrate for you vegan codfish. And this is made from something that is called heart of palms. Heart of palms. So I want to take a moment to tell you about the benefits of the heart of palms. So this is the heart of palms. It can come in a can, or it also can come in a package. Now, what are some of the benefits of this? It provides calories. It is rich in potassium. It is highly nutritious. It eliminates things like cancer. It is an important food because it has vitamin B6. It has it helps to improve your energy. It is a healthy thing to incorporate in your diet. It is rich in carbohydrates. It is an important source of dietary fiber that can be expected. It is good for your vision, and it's also rich in zinc. So those are some of the many benefits of heart of palms. So we're going to use this as our base for our codfish. So all we do, what we need for this is the heart of palms, and then you can have peppers of various colors. This is what the heart of palm looks like, right? And then we have our various seasonings here. We have red onion or purple onion and garlic. Then we have some black pepper here. We have some parsley flakes as well as dried thyme. So you can put whatever seasoning you would like to put. And here we have the nori flakes. This is a sea vegetable, and this is what will give the heart of palms the fishy flavor. So how do we make this? Very, very simple. So we have our pan already here. And because we are doing oil-free cooking, we're going to put just a little bit of water in here. Small amount of water. And we are going to bring this to the boil. While that is getting heated, I want to also go very quickly because we have just a few minutes. Plantain is a staple in most of the Caribbean islands. Now you can cook it in the skin because in this way it maintains its iron content. So here is your plantain. Now this dish that I'm going to demonstrate, we're getting ready for the codfish in just a second, but we are going to make what we call patacon. Patacon is something that is eaten in Panama. Now, you boil the plantain, and I like to boil the plantain in the skin, but you make sure it is not too soft or not too hard. Once you boil it, then after they boil it, they fry it. They mash it and fry it. But because we want to do it the healthy way, we are not going to fry it. So instead, we are going to take this. I'm going to bring this a little closer so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my little spoon and then I'm going to mash it. And to this, once I'm finished mashing it, I'm going to put a little bit of my seasoning. I'm going to put a little bit of parsley on there. I'm going to put a little bit of salt as well. You can put a little bit of black pepper if you care to. And then we are going to bake it. So instead of frying, we are going to bake this. Now, because of the interest of time, I've already baked it for you. So this is what the patacon looks like when it's baked. So this is the baked patacon. You can't tell the difference, and then you spare yourself of all the oil, right? So this is the patacon, and this is mainly used in places like Panama. Now, I think our water is pretty much Getting there. So we have placed the heart of palms in the food processor and then we pulse it a little. All right, I think this is ready to go. So we're going to take this out. Now, while we have this ready, I'm going to show you what this looks like. So we brought our little water in the pan because we're doing oil-free cooking. We bring it to the boil and then we put our onions. So you're going to let the onions cook a little bit until it looks a little translucent. And to this, we're going to add our sweet peppers. Because we eat with our eyes, we want to make sure that we are adding nice colors. So you have the onions and garlic here. And then we're going to put our various peppers. So we have sweet peppers here. We have red, we have orange, and we have yellow. So I'm going to cover this. And we're going to allow it to cook for a while. So while that is cooking for a minute, I'll get out of your way for a second there. So we are making sure that the sweet peppers are nicely cooked. And to this, we are going to add our heart of palms. Now I want you to see the texture of the heart of palms. You see it looks just like codfish? Okay, so we're going to pour it in there. Okay, so see how this is looking? We're going to cover this again so that it steams nicely. Now to this we're going to add our spices. Here we have some parsley flakes and some dried thyme. We're going to put a little bit of black pepper in there. You can add whatever you choose to add. We're going to put some vegan seasoning in there. And then lastly, we are going to add the nori flakes. This is what's going to give it its nice fishy taste. You're not going to put too much of the nori. Oh my goodness, this is really smelling great. I want you to see the texture. You let it cook for a few minutes more. So you have this cooked for like 10 to 15 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Your vegan codfish. To this you can add habanero pepper or whatever you choose to add. You season it up the way you would like. And now here we have, if it's in St. Lucia, they like green plantain or green bananas. In Panama, it's patacon. So either way, you can have this with your codfish. So here we have it, folks. We can have, if you're in Panama, you can have your patacon with your codfish. If you're in St. Lucia, you can have your green plantain or green banana with your codfish, and even Guyana, green banana with your codfish. So some of these dishes are just across the Caribbean region. We are just so delighted to share this with you today, and we are looking forward to producing this cookbook, and we hope you will enjoy it. We'll have things like pepper pot from Guyana and all the different dishes from all the English-speaking Caribbean. Thanks very much for sharing this moment with us. Enjoy.
Oh my goodness, what a wonderful fusion of our Caribbean culture. Pleasant good evening, everyone. I am Claire Patterson Mona, a member of the Board of Directors, and it is really a humbling privilege and my pleasure to offer the vote of thanks on behalf of APC Community Services on the occasion of the 2022 Caribbean American Heritage Month celebration. To everyone on this virtual platform, thank you so much for joining us this evening and hanging in there with us. You know, President Biden in a White House proclamation stated, and I quote, "Since our nation's founding, generation after generation of immigrants have helped build this country. The prosperity and opportunity that draws so many immigrants to America would not be possible without the contributions and legacies of Caribbean Americans." And so today, millions of Caribbean Americans strengthen our country through their vibrant cultures, traditions, languages, and values. And we saw that on display here tonight so well. I would like to acknowledge our elected officials, State Senator Kevin Parker, who for 12 years has co-sponsored our celebration. Chinua Duke, thank you, and thank you for the prop. We'll pick it up soon. And thank you to our State Senator Jacqueline Prasad, my Guyanese sister. Thank you so much for sending greetings and for making such an impact on the contribution of Caribbean Americans in the state of New York. To our 2022 delegates representing our featured countries, the Dominican Republic Power Team, Cristina Pena, our narrator, and the technical producer, Emmanuel Monegro. Thank you for pitching in at the last minute. We are beyond grateful for your presentation. Muchísimas gracias. And yes, I will be returning to the DR to enjoy more of your delicious food and rich culture. But in the meanwhile, I have to work on my merengue dance steps because it needs some work. And so representing Barbados was Patricia Wilkinson. I want to thank you and your assistant for the informative content, the rich history and culture of Barbados. Agatha Cadet from St. Lucia, thank you for this very interesting presentation. Did you know that there were 2 Nobel Prize winners from St. Lucia? I learned that tonight. So thank you. We learned so much about your culture, and yes, the food, St. Lucian food is good. Thank you. I was so enlightened to learn about the Republic of Panama, the culture, the Panama Canal. Thank you, Lois Marshall, and your assistant. The facts and quizzes was a fun exercise, and yes, I got a couple wrong. So I will be memorizing that there are 3.8 million people in the Republic of Panama, and your bird is the, can somebody help me? Harpy eagle. I must mention with deep sense of appreciation, and extend a supersized thanks to the talented Troy Griffith. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your technical expertise supporting this flawless virtual event. To Dr. Janice Emanuel, Jean Pickering, and the entire board of directors of APC, truly, truly appreciate you, Troy. Thank you. And thank you to our partners who provided entertainment. To our president, Dr. McLean, we can't wait for the unveiling of that plant-based national recipes. And Joe's Academy of Music, the talented Kareem Headley with roots from Trinidad and Tobago, and the Caribbean Heritage Dancers, they were absolutely amazing. Thank you. The Trinidad and Tobago Progressive Association for the panelists, Mr. Ricardo Griffith, and to all of you, thank you for attending this celebration. We look forward to seeing you hopefully in person next year. Stay well, stay healthy, stay positive, be happy. I thank you and good night. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our celebration. Glad you were able to join us this evening. And Troy, if you can unmute so people can exchange pleasantries. That's what we Caribbean people do. And give us some music as we prepare to depart.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. McLean and everyone.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson.
Thank you. Is that Emmanuel?
Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Janice.
You're welcome, Marjorie,
Thank
all the
you.
way from New Zealand.
Yes, lovely.
We're glad you enjoy.
Thank you so much, Dr. McLean.
Yes, thank you.
You're very
so
welcome.
much.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Janice.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you, even though I joined late. My apologies.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're glad you made it.
Yes.
Pleasant evening, everybody.
Pleasant evening.
Pleasant evening. Agatha, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Nell. Thank you for
Hi,
inviting
Nell.
me. I
Thanks for
enjoyed
joining
it.
us.
Yes.
God
You're
bless.
welcome.
I got
thought
on
I saw
late, but I
Eloise was
enjoyed
there.
every minute of it.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad
And
you
learned
did.
a lot too.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's great.